Welcome to PM Movie Recaps. Today's pick is a comedy and drama of 2011, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. If you're ready, let's enjoy the video. Kabir, a creative architect, is proposing to his girlfriend, Natasha, a wealthy and talented interior designer. She accepts his proposal and they shortly throw an engagement party with their parents and friends. At the party, Natasha learns that Kabir is planning a 3-week bachelor road trip to Spain with two of his buddies, Imran, an advertising copywriter, and Arjun, a financial broker who is working in London. Natasha looks worried because her friend warns her about the boys' crazy behavior at bachelor parties. Meanwhile, Imran explains that the three have a long-standing pact and each of them will have to pick an adventure sport to try together on the road trip. The next day, Arjun calls Kabir to apologize for missing the party and informs him that he can't make it to Spain due to work. Kabir is upset that he is cancelling for the second time and says if the three of them can't go together, then leave it be. Later, after leaving the gym, Arjun runs into his ex-girlfriend who informs him that she is getting married. Arjun can't believe it's happening so soon after their breakup, but he wishes her good luck and leaves. Arjun comes home and checks his voicemails. Kabir says it's been 4 years since that incident happened and begs him to come as it is his bachelor trip. Meanwhile, in Bombay, Imran's mother asks him whether it's a coincidence of his plan to go to Spain. It turns out Imran recently learned the truth about his biological father and secretly plans to meet him on the trip, despite his mother's will. The trio flew to Spain separately and gathered in Barcelona. Even though Arjun and Imran had been best friends since school days, there was some tension when they met. Kabir can't believe they're all together after 4 years and they plan to visit the Costa Brava, Sevilla, and Pamplona. While Arjun stayed back at the hotel for work, Imran and Kabir went sightseeing and found the painting gallery belonging to Imran's biological father, Salman. The next morning on the way to Costa Brava, Imran and Kabir find it annoying that Arjun continues to work while on the trip. When Arjun keeps getting calls, Kabir jokingly says someone throw away his phone, so Imran casually tosses Arjun's phone out of their car when he was on the phone with someone important. It causes an argument which leads Arjun to slap Imran. Imran pushes him back and says it was just a joke. Arjun replies that everything is not supposed to be funny and asks him to grow up. In a moment of anger, Arjun says that hooking up with his girlfriend was not funny. Imran admits that he messed up and apologized several times, but Arjun is not convinced and asks him to apologize only if it comes from his heart. Kabir intervenes and calls her a bitch for cheating on them. He adds that the trip was previously cancelled because of her and don't let her ruin this one either. After reaching their first destination, the boys meet Layla on a beach to whom Arjun is immediately attracted. However, Imran goes and flirts with her, which makes Arjun jealous. That night, Imran buys Arjun a new pink phone and teases him for speaking Japanese earlier. Kabir steps in and reveals that he has chosen deep-sea diving as their first sport. When Arjun refuses as he is scared of water and cannot swim, Imran teases him again with chicken noises, but this time Arjun pays back by spilling Imran's wine all over his shirt. While Imran is in the restroom, Kabir convinces him to accept the challenge. The following day, while the boys are waiting for the trainer, Layla shows up and introduces herself to them as a diving instructor. After their successful training, they all have dinner at a restaurant where Layla shares how her life should surprise and inspire her and be full of new experiences. The next day they all go deep-sea diving, where Layla helps Arjun overcome his fear of water and successfully complete the first sport. After the dive, Arjun begins to realize a new meaning in his life. Back at the villa while Kabir talks to Natasha about his diving experience, Layla interrupts them to use the bathroom. Before she goes, Kabir asks her to say hi to his fiancée. Natasha sees Layla on the webcam and gets upset once she leaves. Kabir tries to explain that Imran invited her over for dinner to celebrate the first dive, but Natasha does not believe him. Later at dinner, Kabir thanks Layla for giving back his old friend and invites her to join the rest of the trip. However, Layla plans to attend the Tomatina festival and requests that they join her. Upon realizing that the festival was on the way to Sevilla, the boys agreed. When Arjun tries to reschedule the reservation, Layla notices his phone and they all begin to taunt him. That night, while Kabir calls Natasha to inform her about the Tomatina festival, Arjun recalls how his previous relationship ended due to his workaholism and obsession with money. The next day they go to the Tomatina festival with Layla's friend Nuria. During the festival, Arjun and Layla start to like each other and Imran and Nuria feel attracted to one another. When they return to their hotel, Kabir and the boys were shocked to see Natasha waiting in the lobby. To make matters worse, he was carrying Layla at the time after she played a prank on him. While Kabir was trying to convince Natasha, Arjun and Imran couldn't believe she crashed her fiancé's bachelor party. Imran then joins Noria in the bath and asks them to wait in the lobby for dinner. At dinner, Natasha learns that Layla is from London, so she suggests they get together after this trip with Arjun. Layla says she would love to, but she is traveling to Morocco for a month. When Imran suggests that they all go with them to Seville, Natasha says she is leaving for London tomorrow and doesn't want to disrupt the trip. Arjun and Imran notice changes in Kabir's behavior when he is with Natasha. After dinner, Imran begs Arjun and Layla to go for a walk so that he may spend alone time with Nuria. While walking, she made him realize that money is not everything and that he should live in the moment. Meanwhile, Imran tells Nuria that he is afraid of meeting his biological father. Even though she couldn't understand what he was saying, she assured him that everything would be fine and gave him hugs. The next day, after the boys have left, Layla realizes she has fallen in love with Arjun. So she borrows Nuri's bike to go after them and kiss Arjun. They express their feelings for each other with a passionate kiss and leave. With that kiss, Natasha is relieved of her suspicions about Kabir. On the way to the airport, Kabir is surprised to learn that Natasha is quitting her job. She then adds that priorities have changed and after marriage even he will not go on trips like this. While Kabir is dropping Natasha off at the airport, Arjun and Imran discuss Kabir's change in behavior around Natasha and decide to speak with him. At the hotel, when Arjun asks him about this, Kabir defends her and thanks him for the kiss that ends the argument. However, he started to have doubts about his relationship. The following day the boys reach Seville and Arjun reveals their second adventure sport, which is skydiving. Following the successful training, the trio prepares to jump. Imran feels uneasy as they approach and hesitates to jump since he is afraid of heights. However, when others dived, he overcame his fear and jumped. After a brief struggle, Imran and the boys enjoyed skydiving and successfully landed. To celebrate the skydive, the trio goes to a bar and gets drunk, where they try to pull a prank on a stranger and get into a fight. They were jailed and Arjun tries to contact the girls, but both their phones are switched off. So with no other option, Imran calls Salman. While waiting, Imran finally speaks out, saying that he found the letter after his stepfather died. Salman arrives and bails them out, taking them to his house. After freshening up while the boys are waiting outside, Salman reveals to Imran that he never wanted the responsibility of married life or children. When Imran asks him to honestly answer if he ever wished to meet him, Salman replies no and says sorry. Imran is heartbroken and replies, "Apologize only when you mean it," and leaves. The entire night Imran couldn't sleep and realized how his actions must have hurt Arjun 4 years ago. In the morning, when Arjun comes to pick him up, Imran sincerely apologizes to him. Arjun sees the genuineness of the apology and accepts it with a hug. Meanwhile, Natasha video calls Kabir to show him the wedding invitation card and requests him to return home soon. While driving, Kabir recalls his mother's birthday. When he brought his mother a ring for her birthday and showed it to Natasha, she mistook it for a proposal and announced it to everyone. When he told her, she started crying and asked if he was serious about the relationship. Although Kabir was not ready, he did not want to hurt her, so he proposed. They arrived at Pamplona for their third adventure sport. The following morning, Arjun wakes up and is surprised to see Layla. It turns out Imran calls and begs her to come. Imran then takes everyone to see the running of the bulls, which is their third adventure sport. The guys are shocked and terrified of dying, but Imran says that's precisely the point. They need to overcome their deepest fear, which is death. During breakfast, Arjun and Imran noticed Kabir's being dull and confused. When confronted, Kabir says Natasha has changed and become possessive. He then explains that she used to be a talented and independent interior designer, but now she has bid goodbye to her passion and is taking over his life. When Arjun asks why did he propose if he isn't ready, Kabir reveals that he did not propose to her and she misunderstood Mum's birthday ring as a proposal ring for herself. Imran couldn't believe it and Arjun understood why this trip was so important to him, because no one else would tell him to cancel his wedding except his two best friends. Kabir says it is not that simple and adds that their family has been involved and invitations have been printed. When they argue, Kabir walks away claiming that they will not understand. That night Imran calls his mom and apologizes for not listening to her. Meanwhile, Arjun is with Layla and Kabir couldn't sleep all night thinking about his situation. In the morning of the bull run, Imran suggests they make another pact if they survive. Imran vows to publish the poetry he has written in his diary. Arjun vows to extend his vacation and go to Morocco with Layla. Kabir initially hesitates, but as the bull approaches, he promises to tell Natasha that he does not wish to marry her. The other two are delighted to hear that and they all start running ahead of the bull. As they complete the event, the three gain a fresh perspective on their relationships with one another, their families, and themselves. During the credits, Imran, Nuria, Kabir and Natasha attend Arjun and Layla's wedding. Kabir and Natasha did not marry, but they remained friends. Thank you for watching, but before leaving please make sure that you click subscribe and turn on the notification so that you can enjoy watching more videos like this.